Hello, friends. Around 70% of the people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. If you hit that subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me. Also, don't forget to press the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your interaction helps the video reach more people and supports the growth of the channel. Thank you so much. By the way, where are you watching from? Let me know your city or country in the comments. Have you ever thought about spending a night deep in the forest, where there's no light, no sound, just silence, and something watching you the entire time? The beginning. This is a story of a young man named Ethan. He loved nature, the quiet, the solitude, the fresh forest air. One day, he decided he wanted to go camping alone. No friends, no family, just him, his tent, and the wilderness. It was a cold November evening when Ethan entered a remote forest, a place with no cell signal, no clear paths, just trees and endless silence. He set up his tent, made a small fire, cooked his food, and after a long day, he fell asleep. The silence of night. But around 2 a.m., Ethan woke up. There was a strange sound outside the tent. Footsteps, not fast, not slow, but steady, like someone intentionally walking quietly. Then came the sound of breathing, right outside the tent. Ethan held his breath. He grabbed his flashlight, but didn't turn it on. The fear was so thick, he could feel it in his chest. Then the zipper of the tent moved, slowly. Someone or something was trying to peek inside, but no one entered. Something on the ground. After a few minutes of complete silence, Ethan gathered courage. He slowly unzipped the tent and peeked outside. No one was there, but near one corner of the tent, something was on the ground, scratches, deep ones, like claws that scraped the dirt, and beside them a half-burned piece of paper. It had one word written on it: "Don't look." Ethan stepped back, heart pounding in his chest. He ducked back inside the tent and waited for morning to come. The second night it returns, but morning didn't come fast enough. That second night was even quieter. No wind, no birds, nothing. Ethan lay inside the tent, wide awake. Then he saw a shadow outside. Between the trees, 2 glowing eyes, still watching. And then it moved, slowly walking toward his tent. He stopped breathing. The shadow came closer, and once again, the tent zipper began to slide down. This time, it tore open. Ethan wanted to scream, but no sound came out. He backed into the corner of the tent, frozen. After what felt like hours, the shadow disappeared. The morning truth. The next morning, Ethan ran. Left everything behind. Just ran without looking back. He reached a small village at the forest edge and spoke to some of the elders. They told him, "There's something in that forest. It watches those who seek solitude. And once it sees you, it never stops watching." Ethan went pale. He asked, "So what do I do now?" One elder replied, "Now, you'll always have to look over your shoulder, because you saw it, and now it sees you." Asterisk, and you? Have you ever thought about camping alone in the woods? If yes, remember, not every silence is empty. Sometimes something's watching. Have you ever wondered if there's a place where time... They say if you ever hear whistling in the woods at night, you're not really alone. But whatever you do, don't whistle back. The beginning. A 22-year-old guy named Tyler went camping with 2 of his friends, Brandon and Eli, deep in the woods of northern Washington. No cell service. No campsites. No one around for miles. They were looking for peace. Just a stream of fire and silence. First night, the whistle begins. Everything was great the first night. They built a fire, roasted food, shared stories. But around 2:30 a.m., just when they were about to sleep, they heard it. A whistle. 3 tones. Low, high or low. It echoed from the trees. Far off, but definitely human. They assumed it was a hiker or another camper. But they hadn't seen a single soul all day. Second night, it gets closer. The next night, it happened again. Same exact whistle. Same exact time. But this time it was closer. Tyler looked at the others and whispered, "What if this isn't just someone playing around?" Brandon responded, "Who the hell would be out here at this time, hiding?" They stayed up the rest of the night, watching the tree line. Nothing moved, but they felt it like something was watching them. Third night, they whistled back. On the third night, they made a mistake. When the whistle came, Eli whistled back. Same pattern. Low, high, low, then silence. Complete. Unnatural. Unnerving. Suddenly, the whistle came again, but this time, right outside their tents. They jumped out with flashlights, scanning every direction. There was no one, but then Tyler saw it. A figure, pale skin, thin frame, standing still behind a tree, just staring. Then it backed away into the darkness. Gone. The end. They didn't wait till morning. They grabbed what they could and ran. Left the tents, the gear, everything. When Tyler got back home, he started searching online, and he found something, a local legend, about a creature that lives in the forest around that area. They say it uses whistles to lure people out of their tents. And if you respond, it knows where you are. Brandon and Eli refuse to talk about it now. But Tyler, he swears, every now and then, when he's alone, lying in bed, he hears it again. Right outside his window. Low, high, low. Have you ever wondered if there's a place where if you ever find an abandoned cabin in the woods, don't go inside. Even if it looks empty, it never really is. The setup. It was supposed to be a weekend escape. Aiden, 24, and his girlfriend Samantha decided to go camping in the mountains of Colorado, far from traffic, social media, and stress. They hiked deep into the forest, miles from the nearest road. No one else around. Just them, the tall pine trees, and total silence. They set up their tent near a small creek and spent the day exploring, laughing, taking pictures. It felt perfect. But then they found it, the cabin, just before sunset. As they wandered off the trail, they noticed something strange hidden between the trees. A cabin, old, wooden, almost falling apart, like no one had lived there for decades. The windows were covered with rotting curtains. The door was slightly open, swinging with the wind. Aiden, curious, said, "Let's check it out." Samantha hesitated. "It feels wrong." But Aiden laughed it off. Inside, the place smelled like damp wood and mold. Broken furniture, ripped wallpaper, and carvings on the walls. Weird symbols, like something from a ritual. On the floor, in the corner, was a torn mattress, and what looked like claw marks on the wooden walls around it. The first night, back at their tent, Samantha couldn't sleep. She said she kept hearing something walking near them, branches snapping, leaves rustling. Aiden told her it was probably a deer, but around 3 a.m. they both heard it. A loud, slow knock, coming from the direction of the cabin. Not one, not random, but 3 knocks evenly spaced, like someone or something wanted to be heard. They didn't go to check. The second day, they tried to shake it off, hiked during the day, stayed near the trail. But when they returned in the evening, something was off. Their tent was unzipped. Stuff moved around. Nothing stolen, but everything disturbed, like someone had been inside, or something. They decided they would leave in the morning, but the forest had other plans. The second night, that night, the knocking returned. Only this time, it wasn't at the cabin. It was right behind their tent. 3 knocks, on a tree, so close they could feel the vibration. Then, breathing, slow, deep, raspy breathing. Aiden grabbed his flashlight and unzipped the tent in one motion. But there was nothing there. No footsteps. No wind. Just complete, unnatural stillness. They ran. They didn't wait till morning. With shaking hands, they packed their things, left the tent behind, and started hiking out under the moonlight. About 30 minutes down the trail, they saw something. The cabin. Again. But it wasn't supposed to be there. They had gone in the opposite direction. Yet somehow, there it was. The same broken door. The same torn curtains. Only this time, the door wasn't swinging. It was wide open, and something was standing inside. Tall, thin, too dark to make out, but its eyes reflected the moonlight like a predator. Aiden didn't speak. He just grabbed Samantha's hand, and they ran. The ending. They eventually found their car, locked themselves inside, drove nonstop until they reached the city. But something changed in Aiden after that night. He stopped sleeping. He said he kept seeing that cabin, in dreams and reflections, even in pictures on his phone. Once, he swore he heard the 3 knocks on his apartment door at 3 a.m. He didn't open it, and he never went into the woods again. Some places, you don't just leave, because whatever lives there might decide to leave with you. The aftermath. It had been 3 weeks since Aiden and Samantha returned from the mountains. She was slowly getting back to normal, but Aiden wasn't the same. He'd stopped working, stopped going out. He barely slept, and when he did sleep, he dreamed of the cabin, the smell of rotting wood, the symbols, the claw marks, and that thing standing in the doorway. The first sign, one night, around 2:50 a.m., Aiden was scrolling through his phone, trying to stay awake. That's when he heard it knock 3 times, slow, on the window of his second-story apartment. He froze. No one could reach that window, but it was real. He turned off the lights, crept to the window. Nothing, just an empty, quiet street below. The camera footage. The next day, Aiden bought a cheap security camera and set it up outside his door. That night, again at 3:03 a.m., he heard footsteps in the hallway. When he checked the footage in the morning, there was nothing, just static. Between 3:01 and 3:04 a.m., the file was corrupted. All the others were fine. Samantha leaves. Samantha tried to help him, but one night, she had a nightmare that she was standing in the cabin, alone, and something was whistling behind her. She screamed herself awake. The next day, she packed her things and left. She told Aiden she couldn't stay in that apartment anymore, that something felt wrong. The return of the cabin. Then it got worse. Aiden started seeing the symbols again, in his dreams, in chalk on the sidewalk. Once, even carved into his bathroom mirror. One night, his phone vibrated. One new photo, but he hadn't taken it. He opened the gallery and froze. It was a picture of him, lying in bed, taken from the corner of the room, in the dark, and in the background, barely visible, the door to his closet was open, and something was standing inside. The ending, or is it? Aiden's last message to Samantha was a voice note. It said, "I know how to stop it. I think I have to go back to the cabin." That's where it started. That's where it ends. She tried to call him, texted, nothing. No one has heard from Aiden since. But a ranger up in northern Colorado claimed he found an empty car near the trailhead, and deep in the woods, a cabin, old, abandoned, rotting, and carved on the inside of the door, 3 symbols, and 1 sentence. 1 month later, no one had seen Aiden in over 4 weeks. Samantha filed a missing person report, but there was no trace, no credit card activity, no phone signal. It was like he had vanished, until one night she got a package. The package, no return address, just her name, handwritten in black ink. Inside, a USB drive, wrapped in what looked like old damp cloth. She plugged it into her laptop. One file, a video, titled, "For You?" The video, it started with Aiden's face. He looked pale, unshaven, eyes sunken, like he hadn't slept in days. "If you're watching this, I made it back to cabin, but I shouldn't have." The camera shook as he walked through the woods, filming himself. He kept whispering, "It's watching me. It knows I'm back." Then he reached the cabin. Same rotting wood, same broken door. But this time, the door was already open. Inside the cabin on video. He stepped inside. It was exactly like before, except darker, colder. The walls were covered in new carvings. Symbols, but also words. You brought it with you. It lives through you now. Aiden walked to the corner, to the same mattress. Something was lying on it. He moved the camera closer. It was a body, his own, eyes open, mouth twisted, like it had been drained. Then the video cut, just static, and one last frame frozen. Aiden's face looking directly at the camera, but his eyes were pure black, and he was smiling. Samantha's ending. She never showed the video to anyone. She deleted it, moved to a different state, changed her number. But some nights, around 3:03 a.m., she still hears it. Knock, knock, knock. Not on her door, but from inside the closet. And once, she swears she saw something in the corner of her room. Tall, thin, watching. And when she turned on the light, it was gone. But the mirror had something scratched into it. You're next. Have you ever wondered if there's a place where time... If you ever find an old trail in the forest that's not on any map, turn back, no matter how curious you are, no matter how quiet it seems, because some paths don't lead you anywhere. They keep you. The setup. Derek, 27, and his two close friends, Jamie and Chris, were on a backpacking trip in northern Oregon. They'd done this before. A tradition. 3 friends, 1 trail, no cell signal. Just firewood, food packs, and stories under the stars. This year, they picked a less-known area. A ranger had warned them it wasn't maintained anymore. Too overgrown. No proper maps. But that just made it more exciting. The trail. The first day was beautiful. Cool breeze. Birds chirping. They followed the faded markers deeper into the woods. Around late afternoon, Jamie noticed something strange. A narrow path, almost hidden behind thick underbrush. No sign, no footprints. Just there. Chris wanted to follow it. Looks like a shortcut. Derek hesitated. It's not on the GPS. But curiosity won. They pushed through. The deeper they went, the quieter it got. Even the wind stopped. The campsite. They found a small clearing, oddly perfect. Flat ground, surrounded by tall trees in a perfect circle. Too perfect. They set up camp, but something felt off. There were no animal sounds. No bugs. Just a cold silence. At night, Derek dreamed of trees moving. Not swaying, moving. Reaching. Wrapping around the tent. The first sign. Next morning, their footprints were gone. Not faded, gone. Like the dirt had reset overnight. Jamie laughed it off. Chris looked uneasy. When they tried to hike back to the main trail, it wasn't there. They walked in circles. Checked the compass. Even climbed a tree. Nothing but endless forest. And that trail they'd followed, it didn't exist anymore. The second night, Chris started muttering in his sleep, saying words they didn't understand. Waking up drenched in sweat. His hands were dirty, like he'd been digging. That night, Derek heard footsteps. Around the camp. Slow. Deliberate. But no one was there. Only trees. Watching. The tree. On the third morning, Jamie found something. A tree. Thick gnarled, with carvings all over it. Dozens of names. Some scratched deep into the bark. Others barely legible. At the bottom was one word burned in. Stay. And just below it, fresh, bleeding into the bark, was Chris's name. But Chris swore he didn't carve it. The descent. Chris started getting worse. He wouldn't eat. Barely spoke. He kept staring into the trees like something was calling him. Jamie wanted to leave everything behind and just run. Derek agreed. They planned to hike straight in one direction. No turning back. But when they woke up the next morning, Chris was gone. And so was their gear. Only the tree remained, now with Jamie's name on it. The escape. They ran. No trail. No rest. Just running. Hours passed. And just when they were about to collapse, they saw a road. Old. Cracked. But real. A pickup truck passed by, slowed, and took them in. The driver said, "You're lucky. Nobody comes out this way." Derek asked, "How far to the nearest ranger station?" The driver stared at him. "There is no station here." The ending. Jamie eventually recovered, but Derek changed. He never spoke of the forest again, until one day, years later, Jamie got a letter, just one sentence. The trail came back. Inside the envelope was a photo, a tree with two names, Jamie's and Derek's, and a third name being carved by a hand made of bark. Final note, some trails lead you somewhere. Others lead you back, again and again, until you forget you ever left.